Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's Trucks Rewind, we are looking back at Friday night's 19th annual Digital Ally 250. 167 laps, 250.5 miles around the 1.5 mile Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. This was a wild one. I think probably the best truck race we've seen all season, which is saying something because we have seen some good truck races this season. This one had just about everything you could possibly want out of a truck race. 6 caution flags in this race for a total of 29 laps. First one came at lap 27 for the 51 of Brandon Jones, spinning in turn 4. Stage 1 concluded at lap number 40. Your Stage 1 winner would be Stewart Friesen. Lap 54, the 54 of Natalie Decker spun off of turn 4 into the front stretch grass, tearing up the front end of her truck. That would be the end of her night after a pretty solid run early. She was right there around that 10th to 15th range early on in the night. It wasn't a fantastic run, but I think one of her better runs she's put together in the truck so far this season. Lap 80, Stage 2 concluded with Stewart Friesen picking up the Stage 2 victory there as well. Lap 140, the 24 of Brett Moffitt and the 98 of Grant Infinger got together in turn 2. Two very fast trucks on the night. Infinger leading a lot of laps early, and Brett Moffitt was up front as well. Lap 149 would be your final caution of the night as the 33 of Josh Rayum stalled in turn 4. 22 lead changes among 9 drivers in this race. Stewart Friesen led the most laps, 87 total in this one. Grant Infinger, 47, and Sheldon Creed led 12 laps in this race. Also leading laps, Ross Chastain with 5 laps, Brett Moffitt with 4. 2 laps went to Tyler Dipple. 1 lap apiece to Ben Rhodes and Austin Hill. All right, on to your results. Stewart Friesen led the most laps and won both stages. Did he finally shake the bad luck and pick up his first career Truck Series victory? No, he did not. Late race issues cost him this victory. Ross Chastain, though, the benefactor, picking up his first career Truck Series victory and the first for Neice Motorsports in the Truck Series. A huge win for Ross Chastain, a huge disappointment for Stewart Friesen, and I'm beginning to wonder if Stewart Friesen is ever going to pick up that first career victory. I know everybody keeps saying Stewart Friesen's day will come. I kept saying Stewart Friesen's day will come, but the more times this happens, the more I start to wonder, is it ever going to happen for Stewart Friesen? Or are we just going to look at him as the best driver in the Truck Series to have never won a race? Is that what he is going to become? Or will we finally see him get a victory at some point? I would love to see Stewart Friesen get a victory. It's not... If the bad luck continues, we may never see Stewart Friesen have his day. Ben Rhodes came home in the second position behind Ross Chastain, and Todd Gilliland had a fast truck at the end of the day. He came home in the third position. Austin Hill in fourth, and Brandon Jones recovered from his early spin for a top 5 finish in fifth. Rest of your top 10, Matt Crafton, Grant Infinger, Brett Moffitt, Riley Herbst in the 46th this week. He came home in 9th, and Harrison Burton rounded out the top 10. 11th through 20th, Tyler Ankrum, last truck on the lead lap in 11th. Tyler Dipple there in the 12th position. Gus Dean in 14th. Stewart Friesen, after everything he did on the night, winning both stages, leading most laps, 15th, 1 lap down at the end of the race for Stewart Friesen. A heartbreaking night for the driver of that 52 truck. Sheldon Creed landed in the 19th position after issues in the race. He came home 9 laps down in that 19th position. Final page, 21st through 30th. Only 30 trucks in this race. First race I believe we've had this season without a full field in the truck series. Johnny Sauter, after his issues in the middle of the race, 22nd on the night. Natalie Decker landed in the 25th position after her accident. And Austin Wayne Self out early with engine issues in 27th, as he is now back after completing the Road to Recovery program. And that is your results from the Digital Ally 250. So let's head over to the Media Center. We will see what a very jubilant Ross Chastain and his team had to say after this huge victory for that team.
Excitement, tears. I choked up in part of the interview out there in Victory Lane. Blew tires out on it, doing my burnout. Did a little better this time than last time. So yeah, man, this stuff is so hard to do. Like, we all know it, but until you go through it, it's what American or sports in the world is all about, like comebacks and underdogs. And I've been called an underdog my whole career, and I'm tired of that. I get so sick of hearing that. I know they mean well when they say it, but man, I just want to win, and that's why I race everything I can. And this is so awesome. We're finding one. I don't know. Somehow it went missing. So I'm gonna go bust one on the track tonight. It's tradition. I'll find one, and there'll be videos of it.
And was it you that came over the radio and said, you told us that if you came here you would win for us?
I didn't. They cut my radio off. They won't let me talk to him anymore. So I didn't say anything on the radio.
He was busy celebrating.
Was that you, Phil?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
What'd they say?
Somebody said you promised if you came and raced for us, you would win.
Rocky, that was a spotter. Yeah, because I don't know when Rocky came on. I ran a race or two for him maybe last year, and then I think Rocky came on and did one of the last few races we did together last year, and he kind of asked what I thought. I was like, we'll win, like we will, like, and it was a hard sell to everybody on my team. I mean, I call it my team. It's outside of Neice. It's CGR. It's Chevrolet. It's Premium. It's Johnny Davis. It's Colleague. It's Nutrient Ag Solutions. It's so many people. And so many people were against me running all these races because, I mean, you're going to get tired. Like after the Dover truck race last week, I was so tired. I was more tired then than I was after the Xfinity or the Cup race. My truck was that hard to drive last week, so they were worried I would get tired. Luckily, I don't feel like I have. I feel like I still have so far to go as a race car driver. But yeah, I knew we could win, and I just had to push through the off season because I got a lot of flag. Yeah, now I can take this back, show them that I could see the light. I had to prove it. How did we do it? I think it's the people.
Yeah, definitely.
Talk about the people, Al.
I'm really fortunate that Cody and I hooked up 3 years ago, and it was just I wanted to try to get my license back and drive as a 74-year-old man, fat old man.
Did you catch that? He wanted to drive in the truck series. That was his reason for getting in here.
In fact, little story, the first truck and engine I bought, I was going to form the team, and I thought I'd call it IR Racing because I took the money out of my IRA to buy everything. So, and then Cody said we need a little bit more, and we need a little bit more, and we need a little bit more. And Cody just kept improving the program every year, and we ran against Ross. I think the first time we ran against Ross was in Atlanta 2 years ago, and we thought we had some pretty good stuff, and I know what Ross was in was not quite as good as what we had, and he ran away from us. We've got to get this guy because we might not be able to have everybody else's, the equipment that other people have, but when you have a crew chief and a driver that can put it all together, you can overcome a lot. And we have. And it's a team effort. The guys in the shops, I mean, we really, last year at the end of the season, we cut back to almost nothing and really had to scrape and get it all back together. And Ross said he was going to go ahead and drive for us this year, and fine, we hung our hat on that. Cody brought Phil in, and I mean, I can't even tell you the name of all the guys we have at the shop and gals. Emily's in there, and Michelle. I mean, we've got some really, really dedicated people, and we're not paying them what we should, but we're making it go with the budget we have, and we can do an awful lot with big heart and effort. Right, these are the two that are doing it.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at your playoff grid following Kansas before wrapping up here tonight. Johnny Sauter, of course, still your points leader, at least in terms of the playoff grid after his win last week in Dover. Austin Hill, of course, still the only other Truck Series regular to have won a race, so he is the only other driver locked into the playoffs thus far this season. Grant Enfinger still leads the overall points right now over Brett Moffitt and Stuart Friesen. And then your battle down here at the cutoff between KBM teammates Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland. 9 points separates the driver of the 18 and the driver of the 4. Sheldon Creed falling further back this week. He now sits 35 points behind the 8th position with Harrison Burton. So it's beginning to lengthen out here. The deficit that Sheldon Creed has to get into the playoffs. The longer we go and the more that deficit increases, the more likely it is that he's going to need a win to get into the playoffs. We'll see how that shakes out going forward. But Sheldon Creed not having the best start to the season. He's had some good runs, but unfortunately he's had a little bit of bad luck that has put him behind the 8 ball in points as well. But that's your playoff grid following the Digital Ally 250 from Kansas, and I believe that will do it for us on this Truck Rewind. Cup Rewind coming up should be sometime Sunday morning, maybe early afternoon, as that is a night race tonight. Probably won't be, I doubt that'll be wrapped up until close to midnight Eastern, so it'll be sometime early Sunday, maybe early afternoon when we get the Cup Rewind up. And then, of course, pole position coming up. It is back this week. It will be at its normal time, Monday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, to recap you on everything that happened this weekend in the world of motorsports, not just in NASCAR. But if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from R&N. While you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.